really to hit financial freedom, you just need enough passive income to cover that. And then as soon as you've hit that mark, like you technically don't have to work, but I would imagine for a lot of you, you might want to work. You might just want to work less, or you might want to only work on certain things. Hey guys, and welcome back to Builder Funnel Radio, and welcome back to another edition of the Growth Series and a brand new year. It's 2021, and I know for a lot of people out there, they're probably glad to be leaving 2020 in the dust. But hopefully, for a lot of you listening, 2020 was actually a good year business-wise. I know we had a turbulent start there, but on the whole, our industry really was booming. It froze there for a couple of months when the pandemic hit, but yeah, I hope for a lot of you that 2020 actually shaped up pretty good, and you're heading into 2021 with some momentum. I know that was the case for us. 2020 was our best year yet here at Builder Funnel, and so we've just been expressing a lot of gratitude, because that wasn't the case for everybody. It wasn't the case for all industries. Fortunately, construction, and what we do in marketing was deemed essential, or it was super easy for us to go remote. And then obviously the construction space experienced a lot of growth. People being stuck at home, they wanted to make improvements, they wanted to upgrade their home because they're working from home. And so, yeah, anyway, we've just been expressing a lot of gratitude for that, because we know a lot of other industries took some big hits. And obviously there are a lot of health challenges across the board. So I hope that for all of you listening, that 2020, even if you experience some challenges, hopefully it was overall a positive year. And if not, then hopefully we can progress into 2021 in a positive fashion. So welcome to the new year. And I thought for the first episode, I would kick things off a little bit differently. Normally we talk about a lot of marketing and sales, business growth related topics. But I wanted to talk about a topic that I'm super passionate about. And that is kind of this whole world of personal finance, investing, and really wanted to dig into this concept of retirement. I was thinking about this question, like, when can you retire from your construction business? We've talked about that a little bit on the family business show with my dad Wes and my uncle Brooks. And, we talk a lot about transitions and passing on the business to family, or trying to sell your business. And I think, it's pretty tough in a service-based construction business if you're not super big and you haven't really done a lot of work to pull yourself out of the business. It's not necessarily very likely that you're just going to ride off into the sunset and sell your business for a huge multiple of NOI or anything like that. And finding a buyer can be challenging. Somebody that wants to take over, especially if they feel like they're just buying a job, where they have to do a lot of work. And so, really been thinking about that concept of just, how do you retire from your construction business and what that looks like. And I don't really like retirement as a term, as a concept. I think that we've just kind of, I don't know, we've been warped into thinking that retirement is this grand old thing. And it's, hey, work a bunch of years for a long time, save a bunch of money, invest, and then stop working and basically then do a bunch of stuff that you want to do. And now you don't have to work. I think that model is broken, because we should like, our work, or at least some elements of it. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be fun. Um, but if you're just kind of grinding through 40 years of life, and it's just terrible and it's a slog, and then you finally get to this point where you're not doing anything, then your mind's not active, your body's not active. Um, I just don't think that that's a good recipe. And so I like the idea and the concept of financial freedom a lot more. And really, the way I think about that is having money freedom, um, time freedom, and then also working on the types of things that you want to work on. So The way you define, or one could define financial freedom, is basically, hey, I have a certain amount of living expenses every month. Maybe that's 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever your lifestyle is at. Really, to hit financial freedom, you just need enough passive income to cover that. And then as soon as you've hit that mark, like you technically don't have to work, but I would imagine for a lot of you, you might want to work. You might just want to work less, or you might want to only work on certain things, you know. So for me, I've been on this journey pretty diligently for the last 10 years, I would say. Started digging into a lot of like Rich Dad Poor Dad and investing books and personal finance books. And so my original goal was, hopefully I could retire at 30, which I'm 33, about to be 34 now. That's not going to happen. I think that I'll be there in a couple of years based on my projections. So maybe 35, 36, 37, somewhere in there. So I missed the mark a little bit, but I don't intend to stop working, because that doesn't, I mean, work gives me purpose. I love what I do. I love marketing. I love helping businesses grow. I love the personal growth it gives me, the challenge. It keeps my mind super active. And so I don't know. I just think it's weird that you would want to sit around and do nothing, and kind of that concept of retirement. And so really what I wanted to share with you is just kind of a new lens, hopefully, or a way of thinking about it. And if you can use, either if you're a business owner, your personal business, kind of look at that as your engine for generating cash, and then putting that cash into investments that generate more passive cash flow for you. And if you aren't a business owner and you're listening to this, you have a job, you have an income, so you're going to save a part of that, and then again, you can then start investing that into things that create positive cash flow for you. And the cool thing about this is that if you keep your expenses low and your lifestyle doesn't have a lot of bloat to it, if you only need, 3 grand a month or 4 or 5 grand a month to live on, um, you can create financial freedom a lot sooner than 60, 65, kind of that typical retirement age. And so, um, yeah, I think, a few things that I think about are, I've done a lot of work investing into real estate, into stocks and individual stocks, and reading a lot of books around like how Warren Buffett invests, and, value-based investing. And I haven't actually dug into a lot of like dividend-based stocks, but that's a great way to just kick out some cash flow. And then I've also dug into kind of affiliate programs where you get recurring commissions from selling different things. And so, done kind of a combination of things to build up passive streams of income there. But, as you're working your business, if you're working on, hey, I've got a business, I'm doing 1 million, I'm doing 2 million in sales, wherever you're at, if you're shooting for a certain net profit, so you're paying yourself a salary, but then you're shooting for a certain amount of net profit, whether it's 5, 10, 12%. If you're doing 1 million, hopefully you could get to 10% net profit, but let's say you're at 5. That's 50 grand that you could be taking and putting towards investments, and generating these passive flows for you. And so I think, for a lot of us, the real recipe to get to time freedom, to money freedom, is to really be diligent about keeping your expenses controlled, and then being really strategic with saying, okay, I'm going to allocate all those leftover dollars into buying income, basically, whether it's rental income, stock income, commission income, things that you can buy. I know some people get into like vending machines and, different things that are a little more passive, where you can basically just pay somebody to replace stuff like that. Like the candy or whatever's in the vending machines. But there's lots of different ways, whether it's really simple businesses or stocks or real estate, to create those passive income flows. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share this concept with you, especially coming out of 2020. If you had a great financial year, great time to invest that money into some of these places. And I think the tendency is to reinvest a lot of those dollars into our businesses, which can be a great thing. If you're trying to grow pretty aggressively, you need that cash, you need that capital, and you need to put it right back into the business. Um, but again, if you just build a really big business and you aren't able to sell it, then if you never keep any of the leftover profit, then you really just end up working for a long time to grow something really big. And then you better hope you get big enough that by the time you get to, whatever age you want to retire, that that net profit is so large that you're just kicking out, oodles of cash. But I think that that's a small percentage of businesses that actually scale up to that point. And so I think it's a little more prudent to take, at least a percentage. Maybe you're going to say, hey, 50% of profits go back into the business, 50% come back out, and I'm going to invest that. Um, and I'm a big fan of, increasing lifestyle as you continue to increase your earnings. But I always want to pay myself first and then increase lifestyle. So at least like a 50-50 ratio. So, if your earnings go up by 20 grand a year, you'll take 10 grand and maybe have some fun with that, and 10 grand and put that into investments. And every time you increase your salary or your earnings, if you're at least taking half of the increase and putting that into investments, you're going to set yourself up really, really well. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this, kind of the concept of the old concept of retirement, or just striving for financial freedom. Shoot me a text, 719-626-8760. And yeah, just let me know what you think. Because yeah, like I said, the goal for me isn't really to hit a point where it's like, great, now I can just sit around and do nothing. It's great. Maybe now I don't have to work as many hours. Maybe I can work 20 hours a week in my business, and I can spend, 10 more hours with my family and my kids that I wasn't spending before. And then maybe I can spend 10 more hours doing fun stuff, different hobbies, and, stuff I like to do. And so I think the goal is just more variety, more choice, more control over time, because that's the thing that none of us get back. And so yeah, anyway, I hope this maybe made you think a little bit differently, inspired you to take some action in terms of buying passive income flows. um, Whether you're a business owner or an employee, um, you can take whatever that is, your profits, you can take a share of your salary. Even if you're a business owner and you have a zero profit year, you break even, hopefully you still paid yourself a salary. Don't live on the whole salary, and take a chunk of that and start saving and investing that. And so there's always ways to pay yourself first and put it into these types of investments. So anyway, guys, my takeaways today are, step one, figure out what you really need to live on. And it's probably a good time to evaluate if lifestyle is a little bit bloated for the actual income that you have going on. What is your current lifestyle, but then what's your desired lifestyle? Because maybe you can hit financial freedom, but then you're going, yeah, but I want more out of life. I want to increase, my spending. I want to do these different things with my family, or I want to have these trips. So then you may still be working to kind of get to that. So there's financial freedom, and then there's acceleration of lifestyle. And so just thinking about those two things, but then start taking those steps to invest in passive income flows. Be aggressive with it. You can make a lot of progress in a decade. So if you're, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, you can do a lot in that time frame if you're just very committed to this process. And then my final thought is, don't make the goal retirement, make it flexibility of choice with, money and time and that sort of thing. And hopefully you want to continue to work in some capacity, but hopefully it looks different than it does now. Maybe you're working less, and hopefully you're only working on the things that get you excited about, and you're able to put people in place to do the other things that hopefully they're excited about, and that takes that off of your plate. So Anyways, guys, thanks for letting me kind of get on my soapbox here and talk about this. I love this topic, and would love to hear your feedback if you want to hear more of this, or if you're like, nope, just stick to the sales and marketing stuff. That's why we tune in. So shoot me a text, 719-626-8760. I'd love to hear from you. And welcome to 2021. Let's rock and roll. See you next time here on Builder Funnel Radio.